Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Robert Ralph, freelance writer and content creator. Today I wanted to talk about some changes that are up and coming to New Writers Welcome, which is my largest publication on the Medium platform. I think it would be fair to say that most people now understand why New Writers Welcome was created. It was simply a matter of I joined Medium, found it very, very difficult to get into publications, felt frustrated, and decided the best way for me to get into a publication was to effectively start my own. Whilst I did have support from a great publication called Writer's Block, they were very supportive and still are to this very day. Maybe apart from those, I find it very, very difficult. So New Writers Welcome was born with some encouragement from some of my Medium friends, and it has developed in what you see today. We're in January 23, and as it stands, we've got just over 17,000 followers, which is absolutely incredible as far as I'm concerned. Some people know I've got another publication, What Is Love to You, that was probably started about 6 months later, something along those lines, and they're just under 1,100 followers. So it's not that What Is Love to You is not as successful. Well, I guess it's not as successful, but it's not as if it's doing poor. It's just that New Writers Welcome have just been absolutely phenomenal in its following. Which is great, but that does bring the good, the bad and the ugly to a degree, because when a publication grows very, very quickly, that brings its own issues, let's say. So a little bit about my background. I'm dyslexic, I flunked school. I wouldn't consider myself to be an extremely good writer. I come onto Medium with zero experience, so really hard to admit, but I guess New Writers Welcome have taken off so well, it's probably exceeded my expectations. Whilst we've got a really great community, I feel that I need to take it to the next level, and as confident as I am, I have doubted whether I've got that ability to take it to the next level. You know, I've got a great editing team, and I just feel that we've come to a point now where we need to make some changes to freshen things up a little bit, to look at the topics that we're currently accepting, and also probably need to look at the type of writers that we're accepting as well. I will go back to my main philosophy. I will always open the door to new writers, hence the title of the publication. But I have found there's been some frustrating times over the past year or so. I want to delve into some of those and give you some exclusives of what I'm going to do to change up the publication. I think the first issue that I have at the moment is the amount of articles that are coming through to us daily. It's a great position to be in, where you have at times 50, 60 articles in the queue. However, that brings its own frustrations. It's difficult because not all editors have the same amount of time during their day to be able to churn through that amount of content. And then equally, the writer that submits the article will get frustrated because their article might sit in a queue for 24, maybe even 48 hours. So I need to think about making a change there, and it's very difficult to come up with a perfect scenario. I guess on the one hand, you could say, well, add more editors, but finding a quality editor isn't easy. And on the other hand, you could say, well, don't take as many submissions. And I think probably the right answer is a combination of both. So I can tell you that the way we take on new writers is going to change shortly. This will no longer be done via the comment section, simply asking, can I be a new writer? It's going to be done via an application form where if you want to become a writer for New Writers Welcome, you're going to have to submit an article, and I'm going to have a look at it and see if I feel that the article is quality enough to be given to our readers to read. Now, I say that with some trepidation because I do understand that new writers will come onto the platform with all different experiences. Some will be like me, an absolute complete novice. When I first joined, some will come on and have had years and years of experience of writing. One of the frustrating things for the editing team is people simply not even reading the submission rules. So as an example, somebody might send through an article on cryptocurrency. We quite clearly state the type of articles that we accept on the platform. So that's frustrating that somebody is asked to write for us, but they haven't even bothered to look at the type of articles that we accept. Another example, we asked for all the articles to have a title, a subtitle, and a picture that is credited in that order. So write a title, go to your Medium toolbox, click on the big T, which gives you a title. Your next line down, subtitle, which is a small t, and then Medium's made it easy to get pictures which are credited by using the Medium toolbox to select a picture. So we're not asking you to do anything that's not possible. We're just simply asking you to follow a few simple rules. As an example, only have 2 links in your article. We don't want the article to be too salesy. We've got to think of the reader in mind. It's always good to have a conclusion and a call to action at the bottom or something along those lines, and simply stick to the topics. So we need to get a little bit harder as an editing team on that. Quite clearly, we do not accept people using AI tools. We do not accept plagiarism. And in fact, we've started to ban people that have been doing that. There's absolutely no excuse for it. There is no excuse for copying other people's work. So that's a little bit of frustration from myself and the editors, and the way in which I'm going to combat it is to take some more editors on, but also the application process to get into New Writers Welcome is going to change, and it is going to be harder to get into the publication. So that's one of the first changes that I'm going to be making very, very shortly. The next thing I'm going to do is look at what type of articles can be submitted to the publication. We've got about 6 topic headings at the moment, and it might remain at 6. My gut instinct is we will probably slightly narrow that down, but we'll see where we go. It's going to be a discussion with the current editing team. I'd like to get some feedback off them. The other thing I'm going to do is look at our statistics, I couldn't say it then, and have a look at what is actually popular and what people like to read. At the end of the day, the publication is to help new writers on the platform, but it's also to make sure that we're providing quality content for our readers. One of the things that I've noticed, the difference between New Writers Welcome and What Is Love to You, is despite New Writers Welcome having a larger following, What Is Love to You, my other publication, actually get a lot more reads per article. So that's one thing to say to new writers on the platform. You don't necessarily get the best reading claps and views from a massive publication. Yes, of course it helps. Yes, of course you get that exposure. But these small little communities of publications, anything from 10 followers to, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 followers, don't try and avoid these, I would encourage you to actually go on and create yourself or establish yourself in these publications, because sometimes being a big fish in a small pond will gain you a lot of traction in terms of views and reads. So I definitely encourage you to do that. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to larger publications, because you can get more exposure, but I think one of the things that when I first started the publication, you could write anything on New Writers Welcome, and I needed to narrow that down, which I have done so. But I guess we're going to go to stage 3 and start to really concentrate on what our readers are looking for, and then try and bring the right writers to write about those topics. In theory, it sounds easy enough. It probably is slightly more difficult than what I'm thinking, but we'll see how it goes. And of course, I always love your feedback if you've got any. You're taking time out of your day to watch this crazy video and to listen to me babbling on and talking. There's a good chance you either write for us or love one of my publications. So your feedback is always very, very welcome. The other thing I was thinking of, I've probably been running the publication for about 14 months, maybe something like that. Maybe making some little changes to the way it looks. Nothing major. I've had a couple of banners over the year, and I'm fairly happy with the one we got at the moment, but maybe just change a little bit of the layout, see if I can get it maybe a little bit more user-friendly. I might actually cut down the amount of articles that we take on a daily basis. At the moment, we take a maximum of 25 articles. Sometimes we're able to achieve that, other times perhaps not. It depends on what we get coming through. So I think we definitely need to look at maybe the layout and see if we can make any improvements on that side as well. The last change I want to make, and this could make or break the publication, is we need to get a little bit tougher with the type of articles that are coming through. If you don't tag New Writers Welcome, if your punctuation is all over the place, if there's really poor spelling, at times we've gone with the underdog and we've just helped you out and maybe made those changes ourselves and put it through. And whilst it's great to help writers, probably those writers aren't learning anything. It would be much better to say thanks. It's not what we're looking for at the moment. There's quite a few things that we'd like to change. Maybe go away, have a look at it, and when you get it right, bring it back to us, submit it again, and we'll take another look. Or perhaps it's worth self-publishing, or maybe trying a publication that don't have or have different standards to us. Let's say, I'm not going to say better or worse, but different standards to us. So you might find that you get articles rejected more frequently, but this is really a positive, because you've got to look at the way you're writing. We want to make sure we get the writers that cover our topics, understand our philosophy, and we all want to row in the same direction. Sometimes writers don't agree with that, and that's absolutely fine. We're not saying that we're right, we're not saying that you're right. Sometimes we're just not going to align. So if we don't align, there's plenty of publications that will align with the type of articles and stories that you want to write. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. Certainly no hard feelings. You might write something that really does fit us, and you might submit it back to us, and that's great. We'll take it on board and we'll publish it. I know it's easy to get offended. I started this video today by saying I got frustrated publications wouldn't accept my writing, and part of that is probably down to I just didn't fit what they wanted. I shouldn't blame the publication for that. I should just look at myself and think to myself, how can I get better? How can I improve? I'll show them. I'll write a killer story that they'll have missed out on this one. But no, seriously, use that motivation to drive you on, and try and do better. Because do you know what? If you write a killer article, there's a chance that that might get distributed or boosted, as it's called these days, or as it's going to be called. So you really want to edit your article over and over and over again. Stop churning out lots of articles and start writing lots and lots of quality. I would prefer to write 10 articles a month that are absolutely solid and build a great reputation for having solid articles than churn out one article a day and just chuck a load of content in there that's okay, but not, not something I really want to put my name into. Okay, I'm moving slightly away from where I wanted to go, so I'll stop right here. Hopefully you understand the reasons for me making some changes on New Writers Welcome. Like I said, it will make or break the publication. These changes will probably come in over the next week to 10 days or so, and we'll go from there. If you've got any feedback, if you'd like to talk to me about anything in particular, please drop me a line. You can always write in the comment section down below. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and until the next time, this is Robert Ralph, freelance writer and content creator.